Welcome to the Stoic campfire. In history, a campfire offers rest and solace. In our modern, fast-paced world, we oftentimes need places we can sit and ponder. Please take a seat and ponder as long as you'd like. Today's episode is on leadership. The specific topic is command presence. One of my friends who listens to this podcast requested for me to go on the topic of leadership. I sat and I contemplated what is probably one of the most important things for a leader to learn. The first thing that came to mind was the topic of command presence. So, for a majority of today's podcast, we are going to go over how to develop a command presence and look at it also from a Stoic perspective. The first question I have is, what is command presence? Take a moment to think about that. Maybe jot it down. Maybe say it out loud. What is command presence? Okay. Well, now that we've thought about that a little bit, to answer the question, command presence is merely the way that leaders present themselves to others. It is the way that other people perceive them. As a result, from a Stoic perspective, there's very little you can do to change how people perceive you. However, the way that you present yourself does, in fact, impact other people. Leaders can present good command presence, but they can also present bad command presence. One of the major misconceptions that people have about command presence is that it is some form of bullying or taking control of people or, if you will, throwing your weight around. Command presence has nothing to do with that. Command presence is merely a tool in which leaders can bring confidence to their team and unite them to complete a mission. My next question for y'all is, what are some attributes of good command presence? Take a moment to write that down. Take a moment to think about that. Maybe think of a leader or someone who has impacted you in your life. What is something that they did very, very well as a leader? What are some of the attributes they presented? Good command presence looks like this. A leader who has solid command presence is confident. They present themselves in a manner that they know what they're talking about, but they're not a know-it-all. Likewise, they are serious when needed to be. They are tough, but they are also compassionate. They lead by example. They never ask you to do something that they themselves are not willing to do. They lead from the front. They don't tell you to go do something as much as they say, let's go do something. Let's move together as a team. Good command presence inspires a team. My next question, what are some attributes of bad command presence? Maybe think of a boss or think of a leader in your life that made doing your job exceptionally hard. Maybe think of something that happened recently that brings to mind bad command presence. Take a moment to write it down. Bad command presence looks like a leader that is insecure. More often than not, bad command presence and bullying usually go pretty hand in hand. Usually someone who needs to make fun of other people, themselves is insecure. Same thing with a leader that doesn't necessarily know what they're doing. They're insecure. To an extent, they are uncomfortable with their people. They're uncomfortable with their troops. They're uncomfortable maybe with their coworkers. They are incredibly tough and lack compassion. They say go and get upset when objectives aren't complete, but they don't go up and lead the troops to complete those objectives. They typically lead from the rear and don't really say anything. Bad command presence can cause a huge lack of respect and hurt the team. This can cause a lack of respect for the team in of itself and for you as the leader. This leads to the question, how do I establish a good command presence? Take a moment to write it down. Think about that. How can you as an individual establish good command presence? The biggest hint to this is confidence. In order to present a good command presence, there is several layer objective. The biggest part of it is understanding the different layers of it. The first part of it is your body language, how you carry yourself, how you act. This says a lot to people. The next part of it is what you say and how you say it. And the final part are your actions. There's a few other that people will talk about, maybe people will get into, but these are the ones that I consider to be most important. Your body language. Part of this, I would say, is your posture, your facial expressions, your eye contact, and your gestures. A lot of this boils down to confidence. If you are able to stand up straight, you're able to have a smile while talking to people, you're able to maintain good eye contact, and you're able to talk with your hands, you typically exude confidence, at least to other people. Even if you yourself are incredibly unconfident or unsure, being able to talk like that and being able to move like that communicates confidence to other people. Likewise, if you do the opposite, you slouch while you're talking, you always have a frown on your face, you can't look someone in the eye, and you tend to keep your hands by your side or close to your chest, it exudes a lack of confidence. You may be asking, well, why is confidence such a big deal? If a leader has confidence, the team will have confidence. If a leader is sure of themselves, the team will be sure of themselves. All attitudes are contagious. If you have a negative attitude, it will carry. The next section is how we talk. If we are able to communicate clearly, it communicates your abilities as a leader. The biggest way to communicate effectively is, first off, slow down. If you are able to slow down your thoughts, you're able to slow down the cadence at which you speak, it communicates that you are an expert on the subject, as opposed to talking incredibly fast. Avoid using filler words. Avoid using words like like, sort of. Anything to that extent. Next, compile your thoughts before you speak. Don't just start talking and then question yourself, why are you speaking? Rather, slow down, think out what you're going to say, and then say it. The next part of it is relax. If you are able to slow yourself down, get yourself in a relaxed composition, you're able to communicate easier. Another part of it is how you use your tone. Tone is a massive part of truly how people perceive you. If you talk constantly and end all of your words on a high-pitched tone, people will think you don't know what you're talking about. Let me give you an example. I have years of abilities within the service. It doesn't sound like I know what I'm doing. Likewise, if I'm able to end my conversations in a deeper tone, it communicates confidence. I have years of experience within the service. You notice the differences? That is just a little tidbit you can take and you can emulate. Next, what you say and how you act will majorly impact how your team works. If you as a leader say you're going to do something and you do it, your team will have confidence in you. They will trust you. They will be loyal to you. However, if you say you're going to do something and then don't do it, your team lacks confidence in you. Likewise, if your team sees you meeting the standard, excelling in the example, doing your best every single day, and really doing your best to be excellent, they will not only respect you on a level of professional respect, they will also see that and to an extent mimic it. The important thing to remember as a leader, someone is always looking up to you. Someone is always watching you. Someone will always look at your example and try to emulate it. So truthfully, set an example worthy of following. To continue on with this, we're going to reference to what many of the Stoics say. A good part of being confident, truthfully, is how you look at yourselves. The Stoics understood that power over the mind was one of the most important things. Marcus Aurelius is quoted of saying, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It is the exact same regard. If as a leader, rather than getting upset, getting down on yourself, talking trash to yourself when things don't go your way or the mission doesn't succeed, having that moment and that composure to step back and say, that was outside my control, How can I adjust what happened? How can I do my best to correct it? And how can I fix it? Another part of it is looking at oneself. You need to be able to take yourself with a certain level of confidence. In order to do this, truthfully, the best way is to not take yourself so seriously. One of the best ways to do this is learn to laugh at yourself. Epictetus is known for saying, "He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at." As a leader, if you're able to calm down, laugh at something, say, "Yeah, I did mess up on that. I can do better." It not only makes you a more humble leader, and it communicates that to people around you, it also allows you to free yourself from being controlled by things that don't make sense, or being controlled by things that are outside your control. Blaming oneself, truthfully, doesn't accomplish anything. Another part of being an outstanding leader is self-discipline. If you are able to discipline yourself, this communicates greatly to people around you. No person is free who is not a master of himself, Epictetus. It is a very similar regard. One of the best ways to develop command presence is to be confident. To be confident, the best way to do this is to invest in oneself. Be able to be comfortable with yourself, be able to forgive yourself, be able to laugh at yourself. Doing these little things makes you more confident. And this will not only just help you in a leadership role, it'll also help you in a social role, in a friendship role. It'll make you an easier person to get along with. It'll make you, truthfully, a better coworker. Another big part of being a good leader is don't delay anything. Don't try to psych yourself out. Many people will say, "Well, this is difficult, so therefore I don't want to do it." Or, "This is a big task, so I'm going to avoid it." Seneca is noted for saying, "It's not because things are difficult that we dare not to venture. It is because we dare not to venture that things are difficult." In the exact same thing, the entire future that you have in front of you is uncertain. Do your best to live immediately. Do your best to be confident. When you have a problem that is brought in front of you, slow down, relax, deal with it, and move forward. It's the exact same thing. If you are able to embody these as a leader, your team will notice. It'll impact your team, and truthfully, it'll make your team stronger. That is all I have for y'all today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great day.